Robinson will be playing against LSV. So we got one semifinal figured out. We just have to figure out the other one.
Now, Brian Robinson beat LSV in the Swiss. Isn't that is that correct?
No, Matteo Orsini-Jones.
Matteo Orsini-Jones beat him. There we go.
That was the only loss. All right. Get a look at the arena again. There's the overhead shot. We've got our boat brew mirror match on the front table, and then Matteo Orsini-Jones has wandered off to the restroom. He and Nassif are in Game 4. What's the Game 4 update? Orsini-Jones actually in a strong position there. He managed to resolve a Cloudgate Ranger off of a Windburst Kites. So,
wow.
Multiple disruption early. So Nassif kind of in trouble. Nassif is up 2-1 though, so Nassif just has to win one of the next two. You know, one Wrath would sweep the board and get Nassif back into control. But meanwhile, we're going to take a look at the last two players we haven't seen yet. Jan Roos and Akimasa Yamamoto are shuffling up. They're getting ready to play their fourth game. Yamamoto is up 2-1.
Got a little bit of an edge, I think, in the matchup. He's got Wrath of Gods.
Yeah,
and he's got Fairy Macabre. He came here going, Red White Rebel Arc is very, very good. I want a sideboard card for Red White Rebel Arc.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. He was right that it was the most played deck, so it's definitely a very relevant deck to think about when building your sideboard. And we've described this a couple of times as the mirror, but as you point out, it's a broken mirror. Yamamoto just plain has more weapons. Yamamoto making his Pro Tour debut. Jan Roos, on the other hand, is making his second top 8 appearance. He's got as many top 8s as Luis Scott Vargas does.
Yeah, Yamamoto has not lost in Standard. He's one of the players.
Oh, he went 7-0-1?
He went 7-0-1. He beat a handful. He did not play any mirrors, but he did play against 2 blue-white or blue-black-white Lark decks. So he has played against Lark.
Right, well, yeah, there's a lot of Lark decks.
Yeah.
Boat Brew is by no means the only Lark deck. So, yeah, Yamamoto 7-0-1 in Standard, 4-2 in Draft. That was good enough to get him to the top 8 of his first Pro Tour. So he's looking to match Brian Robinson as a rookie in the semifinals. Winner of this will play the winner of the Nassif Orsini-Jones match. Jan Roos, like we said, second top 8. He finished second to Charles Gindy at Pro Tour Hollywood right at a year ago.
You may remember him getting his islands walked upon by giant Mutavaults and Chameleon Colossuses.
Yeah, he had the Merfolk deck versus the Elves, and his own Lord of Atlantis betrayed him, sending the giant Mutavaults over. Jan Roos from Germany, so just quietly establishing himself as one of the better players on tour these days.
2 top 8s in less than 12 months.
Yep.
Be probably making a bigger deal about that if it wasn't for Luis's remarkable run.
It's true. It's hard to believe Berlin was his first top 8 for LSV.
Yeah, unreal.
I mean, he's got the U.S. National Championship. He's got the U.S. National. He's got another, third place at U.S. Nats. So, I mean, he's been putting up results, and he's got Pro Tour top 16s. Just hadn't quite cracked through.
Roos leads off with Figure of Destiny, and Yamamoto promptly fanaticizes it.
Yes.
To make up a word.
Fanaticizes it?
Oh, it's Night of the White Orchid. Is fanaticize actually a real word? It's someone saying in my ear.
Windburst Kites for Yamamoto.
Thinking about stashing a Night of the White Orchid.
Yeah, not a lot of great choices.
Well, Banefire is a pretty poor choice to put up.
Banefire not so exciting, yes.
I mean, I guess you could target something.
Kill a Skulking
Makeshift mannequin token.
Oh, yeah. I guess you could.
17.
Knight comes over for 2.
Spectral Perception.
Here's Spectral Perception. So Roos definitely the early aggressor here.
And it sounds, as Roos comes out of the gates, you can see where Yamamoto's deck has some advantages. Just
Wrath of God.
If Yamamoto is coming out like this to a slow draw from Roos, Roos has no outs.
Right.
Whereas
he just has to keep up in the tokens race. But I mean, he has to keep up in the arms race. He's you played a bunch of monsters, I need to play a bunch of creatures too, or I'm just going to fall behind. Yamamoto, though, as you say, how many copies of Wrath of God does he have access to?
Let's take a look.
Is it 2 in the main, 2 in the board, I think?
Yeah. Yeah, 2 main, 2 in the board.
Okay, here comes 5 power, crunching over from Jan Roos.
And of course they both have...
Orsini Jones smashing for 10 after coming back from his restroom break. He's got Nassif down to 4 points of life.
It's kind of
goes
interesting
for a Scepter of Fugue.
Neither of these players have, unless I'm missing it, because I've done that before, no. No, neither of these players have Volcanic Fallout.
Huh. Yeah, it's not that good in the Boat Brew deck because it kills so many of your own guys. This deck, it's got mountains, it's got the ability to cast it, but, I mean, everybody on your side dies to it.
The interesting card that's in Roos's deck is Lapse of Certainty. He's got Memory Lapse.
Well, 2-all, Orsini Jones versus Nassif. We will definitely be bringing you Game 5 of that matchup.
So the only board sweepers in this matchup belong to Yamamoto. He's got the 4 mana. Does he have the Wrath? Yes, he does.
Yamamoto's hand is because this deck just has so many good, powerful spells in it. It's got Siege Gang, Elspeth, Wrath of God. So many powerful spells. It's funny, I was talking to Sam Black about the Fairies deck. Okay, so here is the Wrath of God. Yamamoto is going to sweep the board. And... Oh, Lapse of Certainty. Memory Lapse. Jan Roos buys himself an extra turn.
Gets an extra 5 damage and brings Yamamoto down to 7 with his next attack.
Yep. 5 damage does drop Yamamoto to 7.
Does he have another one?
And Windbrisk Heights for Revelark. Does he have any Revelark targets? Oh, he's got that Figure of Destiny. Interesting. So yeah, Jan Roos trying to force Game 5.
Wraths. Figure of Destiny comes back.
Yep. There is the Wrath.
Pumps it to 2. He can get Yamamoto down to...
Revelark does trigger and bring back the Figure.
A Figure and
the knight that died right there.
Yep, that's going to be the next game unless...
This is fully 7 points of damage, right? Yep. Jan Roos drew that up. Great. Wow, what a Lapse of Certainty. He Windbrisk Heights, he found the Revelark, he lapses, giving himself time to put out the Revelark.
You take 4, you go to 3.
Why wouldn't he pump the...
Well, it's only +2.
Banefire you.
Banefire. Banefire gets the job done, and Jan Roos forces Game 5. Wow.
It goes from 2 to 4, yes.
So, Jan Roos... Is that Scott Larrabee?
Looks like we're going to go check in on Gabriel Nassif and Mateo Jones as they go to Game 5.
They could both go long. I mean, it's your call. It's a timing thing. I mean, it's not the end of the world if that finishes off camera, to me.
Mateo Jones came rumbling out of the gates in Game 4 and quickly forced a deciding game in the match here.
All right. Ready for Game 5.
The disruption package in the black-white tokens deck seems like it presents some real problems for the 5-color control deck, which has some slow wants to just play a lot of lands and build up to its powerful spells, those Thoughtseize and Scullers really can.
I'm not sure it gives the black-white the edge, though.
I said causes it some problems.
Right. There are clearly draws where Orsini Jones is able to sort of knock the Thief off. But it feels like what happens is, and this is always the problem with this card, right? You can't control the top of the other guy's deck.
Right.
Like Orsini Jones is hoping to set up a situation where he builds board position and disrupts Nassif's hand, but Nassif still has a deck full of just ridiculously powerful spells. Wrath of God, Volcanic Fallout, Broodmate Dragon. They're just these giant monster spells. There's all this card drawing with the Mull Drifters and the Esper Charms. So it's like Orsini Jones's game plan is play it out, disrupt, hope Nassif hits a land glut. It's like, I think the 5-color control is still advantaged in the matchup, but as you say, it is, it's maybe closer than people thought coming in. Yeah, I think the dream draw is something like Thoughtseize, Sculler, Guy, Elspeth. That'll get the job done. We haven't seen Gabe's walls come into play in any of the games that we've watched. I mean, that's the other thing. It feels like Nassif just either Plume Veil or Wall of Orsini Jones's nickname for it is Wall of Relevance.
Yeah. We were watching the early games, and it seemed like, boy, if Gabe draws a wall here.
Yeah. He just gives him all the time in the world, because Orsini Jones's game plan, you've got the disruption package, but that only works if he's applying enough pressure to actually win the game before Nassif can draw into something. And we saw the second game that was really tight. I mean, it was essentially Nassif lost by, if he'd had 21 life, he would have won the game. Right? That one last point of Burnt and Forge Tender damage coming over the turn before Nassif could crack for the win. And interestingly, sounds like there's a reason we haven't seen the walls come out of Gabriel Nassif's deck. They're in the sideboard.
Sorry?
Interesting.
Playing first seems to have worked quite well so far.
What's better than the walls in this matchup?
Brought in additional Wrath of Gods, or Wrath of Gods. Infest, Wrath of God. We saw the Infest.
We've seen the negates.
And the negates. So
negates and Infest is what it sounds like.
He brought in a Wispmare. So, maybe a Celestial Purge. I would say he brought in Wispmare,
Infest, and Negate. We've seen
and 2 negates.
Presumably Infest and Wrath. It's interesting.
He brought in 6 cards, and that is exactly 6 walls.
Well, it certainly makes... Sounds like he's got a couple of Volcanic Fallouts on the board. He's left some Plume Veils in the main, maybe? I mean, it certainly makes sense that against Orsini Jones, you want sweepers.
Right.
Because what the black-white token deck is trying to do is
non-red
just
sweepers.
Non-red sweepers because of the Forge Tender, sure. I mean, Orsini Jones has got the ability to just dump out a bunch of guys. Cloud Goat Ranger, Spectral Procession. That's what the deck does. And then enhance them. Obviously, Glorious Anthem and Ajani are the enhancers.
Two Wraths always seem so scary to me. It's the times when you want those Wraths.
Yeah.
You really, really want them.
Yeah, but
he doesn't have a ton of card drawing.
Exactly. He's also got the Infest. It's not like he's on 2 sweep effects. He's got, I believe, 6 sweepers in this deck. 6 was always a really nice number for me. It's like when the thing you really wanted, you can't rely on a 4 of. Right. But a 6 of, you figure out, well, okay, what's the second best version of this effect? 6 of, you're pretty much going to have that.
I was talking to Sue recently about Wrath of Gods, and we were talking about Martial Coup, about whether or not... it's a card we saw him play in a couple of different decks this weekend.
Right.
But he said, just never underestimate the value of 8 Wraths. Said you can
Nassif has been forced to mulligan, but has now chosen to keep his 6-card hand. Orsini Jones keeps 7. Gabe leads with a Vivid Land. Top 8, number 9 for Gabriel Nassif. He's now tied with Kai Buddha for the second most of all time. Only John Finkel has made more appearances on Sunday than Gabriel Nassif at this point. Windbrisk Heights for Orsini Jones, and Johnny Goldmane goes underneath.
Mills past 3 lands.
Yep.
Nassif plays an island and shifts the turn. Case of Koilos, is it Sculler time? Yes, exactly what Orsini
there a
Jones
broken
wants to
ambition?
spend his second
Remove
turn doing,
Soul.
but Remove Soul says, no, sir.
A.K.A. the
Miser's one of Remove Soul?
Yes. Look at a little smile on this face. It's like, see, I knew that card was the right card to play.
2 points of pain, and Orsini Jones is able to play Spectral Procession on turn 3.
Yep.
Yeah, those 3 attacking would fire up Windbrisk Heights and bring a Johnny into play. Nassif doesn't have any red mana, right? Doesn't have any black mana? Which lands are those?
Those are 2
Oh,
vivid
2
lands
vivid,
in
so he's got
Lion
whatever he wants.
He can also crypt a command bouncing the Windbrisk Heights. Tap your guys. Bounce Windbrisk Heights, draw a card.
Yep.
Nope.
4th land is that?
That looks like a reflecting pool, or is it an
Is
exotic?
that the orchard? Yeah, it's Thelwar land. So
you
that
can
makes
make
it black and white.
Black, yep.
So point of pain for Thoughtseize.
3 points of pain.
3 points of pain for Thoughtseize.
Yeah, if you're looking at your screen, it's actually 2-2.
Yeah, this is game 5.
Jones.
The winner goes to the semifinals and takes on Boat Brew. Either Jan Roos or Akimasa Yamamoto.
Pilot as of yet undetermined.
Yeah, pilot TBD, but we know it'll be a Boat Brew deck in the semis against one of these guys. So Tokens is a pretty good Boat Brew matchup, right?
Yeah, that's one of the reasons the people who played Tokens
Played it.
chose it.
So I guess,
And again, we said there's no volcanic fallouts in that
right.
boat group.
So Roos and Yamamoto are actually rooting for Gabriel Nassif.
Pained.
They want to play against the member of the Big Three.
Yeah, I can't imagine ever. Yeah, it's sort
Please let me play against Gabriel Nassif. Yeah, I don't know that I find that either.
Walk the lefty to pitch to the right-handed Manny Ramirez.
All right, so Orsini Jones is attempting to resolve a Thoughtseize. He's got 3 attackers in this form of Spectral Procession tokens, and he's got a Windbrisk Heights, which he is looking forward to hopefully activating. We know Johnny Goldmane is under there. Nassif is trying to figure out what to do. There's a Thoughtseize. He's got Cryptic Command. He can counter and tap. Or he can bounce the Windbrisk Heights. What else has he got? Looks like a Broodmate Dragon, a land,
and a Broken Ambitions.
And Broken Ambitions. So Broken Ambitions, he